I'm always thinking about how I can play with Sims packs in ways that maybe weren't intended. So obviously with For Rent, it's kind of a landlord pack, like that's the whole point. But I am not interested at all in being a landlord in my regular everyday gameplay. I'll play with it, I'll test it while the pack is new, but I just don't see myself playing with it a lot in the future. I really don't want to be some big time landlord who buys a bunch of properties and then rents it out to people. Like that's just not fun to me. But I do really like this multi-unit living situation that comes with the pack. And I think where it excites me a little bit more is trying to fit in my Sims extended family, or like find ways to have my Sims live with their friends or their loved ones. So here's the concept. What if we build some sort of house that's got space for your Sims grandparents to live in? Because that way they don't have to be in your Sims household. You don't have to play as them, but they can still live with you and be around and maybe help out with the kids and stuff. This is like a rough draft, okay? But I'm kind of picturing that maybe we have some sort of smallish house. We can have a couple bedrooms upstairs for some kids and the parents. Maybe downstairs can be a completely shared space so Granny can still access the kitchen and the living room and all of that stuff. But then in the basement, we build some, oh, that's too low. Wait. But then in the basement, we build some sort of like Granny's basement apartment situation. Down here, we could have a small kitchenette and a bedroom and stuff for the grandparents to use, but then they can also access most of the rest of the house. I realize that trying to explain it like this without actually doing it might be confusing, but hopefully that makes sense. We're gonna build apartments without actually building apartments, and we're gonna build a rental unit where I can pretend that I'm not a landlord. Because if you played here, sure, your sim is like technically the landlord, but I'm not really trying to charge Granny rent and like make money off of her. I mostly just want her to live in my basement, and then I'll like help her if her pipes break, which makes sense because I would do that in real life. I would help my grandma if her pipes broke. I don't know what I would do to help her because I'm not really capable of that, but I would try. I don't really know what I want the house to look like. I'm kind of winging that part. And this is a 30 by 20 lot in Brindleton Bay, by the way. Okay, this is kind of looking a mess, but just hear me out. It's gonna work, okay? I promise I'll make it work. I know whenever I build these shapes, they always look really weird without the roof on it, but I swear I have a vision in my head. Okay, so I'm kind of picturing the roof to be sort of like that. I don't think that looks very good. Okay, hold on. Wait. I've got a vision. It's gonna make sense, I promise. Just give me a second. What I think I need to do is put like an extra piece of the roof kind of like this. Okay, here's kind of what I'm thinking. That's really tall. Oh no. Okay, this might not be good. This might not be good. Sometimes Sims builds are experiments. Like sometimes you kind of just have to wing it while you go. This is fine. It's not as tall as I thought it was. This is okay. Then we could put a chimney over here because that'll help to fill up the empty space on this wall. So I'll put a chimney up there, kind of like balance out the heights on the sides. The back's a mess. We gotta fix the back somehow. Okay, it's really not even that big, to be honest. Like when you look at the inside, it's kind of a weird shape too. But this will be split up nicely. And then I guess in the back, I'm gonna want to have some sort of extension for where this part of the roof goes. That is a mess. I guess we need to have this part come out. Yikes. Okay, looking at that, I don't really know how I want to split this up. Okay, hold on. Maybe this could work. What if I have this go all the way across? So it ends up being something kind of like that. I know there's a lot of roof happening, maybe in a bad way, but this is doable. And then we can use this. Oh no, now it looks like a cake. All my Sims builds look like cakes on the inside. This is like the standard shape that ends up happening for me. It's like tiers that change and go down. Yeah, okay. Well, at least this one kind of looks like a gingerbread man, I would say, if you look at it kind of like this. So it's not all cake. We have a variety of desserts this time in this build. All right, let me get some lights inside because then we can start thinking about the floor plan, and I'll also show you how to fix the roof because I know that's very annoying how this looks. If you are bothered by that too, what you can do is just copy this and try and get multiple pieces going. Kind of the idea to fix problems like this is to always have the roof line up with the walls. So before it was kind of like clipping in a little bit and you could see it overlapping. I scooted it back so it's always lining up. It makes you have to take a lot of separate pieces, which can be kind of annoying, but that's always the best way to go about fixing this kind of stuff if the clipping bothers you. It becomes a real problem when you want to do stuff like this and maybe have like an open staircase down to the bottom floor and then the roofs all of a sudden do this and it's a mess. Yeah. So what you can do to fix that is just scoot everything back so it lines up with the wall. It might take you some time, but that's the way. Or you could just not do that. You could just not have fences and then it won't cause that. Oh dear. Okay, they're all still clipping. Hold on. Let me get these walls built again. Okay. So we're gonna have a front door kind of like right here. Not really sure which door yet. We'll come back to that, but I'm gonna use that for now so I can figure out the floor plan. I think it would be okay if we had a big long hallway. Maybe this part could become, no. I was gonna have that be a bathroom, but that looks bad, doesn't it? Okay. Maybe this could be a hallway. We could have a skinny bathroom. Or, wait, no. Forget the bathroom thing. This is a good spot to have the staircase into Granny's basement. Okay, so the staircase can go right there. I think that I'll probably put, I don't know, something like that so that there's an actual doorway into it. I don't know if that looks weird or not, but it's a good start. And then in the basement itself, how much space do I have to work with? Okay, here's a little pro tip. If you've got foundations, don't drag the basement out too far. You kind of have to have the basement be within your unit or like within the shell of the build. Otherwise, you get some weird bugs like this, and you can fix that by lowering the basement down, but that of course means the staircase has to be bigger, and then you get like these weird gaps in the wall. I don't know if you can see this, but this has always bugged me so much. Like the weird void space, that void is like the foundation and the gap that I just made when I dragged the thing down. But I much prefer how it looks when the walls line up like this. It bothers me so much less. So the way that you can handle that, again, is just by making sure that the basement is within the walls of your existing foundation. So the furthest I can drag this basement out is up to this tile and then up to this tile on the side. Here's my idea with the basement. I kind of want to have a laundry room downstairs. I would like for the laundry room to be shared as well, like between everybody. So when this becomes a residential rental, this part will be shared and this part will be shared. And then I would have this area become, oh, you may not reassign this room because it is the only room in the unit your sim is currently located in. What? No. This becomes number 1. And then this would become number 2. So this part would be Granny's. The first floor is probably going to be shared across everybody. And then the second floor will belong to the rest of the family. I don't think that this would ever be profitable, but it will work for our gameplay purposes because that means that Granny can access most of the house. I'm gonna build it as just a regular residential because the rentals are very laggy and I don't want to deal with that. So we'll come back and we'll label everything later. Okay, so I'm kind of picturing that Granny will have her own bathroom, like maybe right here. And then this part, it could be like a small studio situation. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but maybe her bedroom could be right here when you first walk in, and then she could get a little kitchenette and a small living area. I may actually start by furnishing this because it kind of excites me the most. I know it's not the point of the house, but it's kind of fun for me, so I want to do the basement. The other problem is that poor Granny will not have any windows. And there are ways that you could do this. Like, we could build it out so that we could have some sort of outdoor entrance into her basement. You could sort of make it like a whole separate basement unit, but that's kind of not what I want to do here because I want her to be actively sharing the home with us. So I like the idea of her entering her unit from inside the house. Like, I actually kind of think it's nice that she can access it from up here, but it would be cool for sort of like a townhouse unit almost, where you could have like the basement open like this. There would obviously be like an actual basement then, but you could have the staircase here and then maybe like some windows and a front door down here so it still has natural light. That's a fun idea. It's just kind of different from what I'm going for. Okay, sorry, distracted. Back to this for a second. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of leaning towards making this into a blue suburban. I feel like it's appropriate to build a blue suburban house with every new Sims pack. We need to make the for rent blue suburban. But like, imagine how cute it would be if we had these cute blue counters and the cute blue tile, and then we had like cute blue walls upstairs. I know all my builds are blue, but in this case, I feel justified in that. Look, even a cute blue bed. Come on, we gotta do it. At least Granny's place can be blue. If you're new to my channel, I kind of get made fun of a lot because a lot of my Sims builds end up being really blue. And it's not even because I like blue. I actually would class blue on like the lower end of the colors that I like. It's not my favorite color. It's close to being one of my least favorite colors. But the thing is, The Sims 4 has so much stuff that is blue, especially in the base game. Like if you're trying to build a base game house without blue, okay, good luck. All of the good swatches are blue. They just are. You look at these cabinets, there's not a lot of color on them. There's like plain white, gray, wood. This one's ugly because of the brown counter. And then all the other options are blue. If there was like a cute yellow cabinet with this counter, I would use it, but there's not. I'm stuck. They made everything blue. It's their fault. Okay, so Granny is gonna need to have her own thermostat. That is kind of important. I'll put that here on this wall. I kind of want want to try and get her own little coat rack too, because she's gonna want to hang up her stuff when she comes home and into her own door. She can get a little shoe rack. Maybe a plant for her. I really, really like the new sink that just came in this pack. I'm also trying to put a little bit of clutter in this bathroom. This towel rack, I want to like it so bad, but it looks horrible. Like the fact that it has that horrible shadow on it, it makes it really hard to use. I'm still gonna try, but I'm not gonna be happy about it. Okay, we can get Granny some stuff there. Maybe she can have a little cabinet above the toilet. And this is kind of fun too, because it gives us an excuse to try out shared laundry. I have been doing this a little bit in one of my other builds where I put a laundry room in like an apartment building, and it works. Your Sims will use the shared laundry. It's actually kind of cool. This is obviously smaller scale because it's just like you and then maybe 1 or 2 other Sims, but they will use this shared laundry room. It is kind of annoying because you have to bring your hamper with you. So if Granny wanted to do laundry, what she'd have to do is like take this hamper, drag it into her inventory, and then walk in here, put it on the floor, and then add it to the washing machine. But I guess that kind of is realistic because that's what happens in real life. No one keeps their hamper like in the laundromat, you know? You have to bring it with you. It's just that when I play The Sims normally, I'll stick a bunch of hampers in the laundry room and then just leave them there. I think that in here, I'm kind of trying to make it into a little bit of like a utility room, storage area sort of thing. So we can have some cleaning supplies hung up. Maybe we could get the decor box because you could like shove this in the corner. And then if you wanted to put up holiday decorations, you can just grab it from in here. Oh, I kind of like that. Okay, back to Granny's place for a second because I keep distracting myself. She is gonna need a dresser. I might try and use one of these nice big ones. I know it's kind of tight with the doorway, but I think that's okay. It also helps to separate the 2 rooms a little bit. Okay, and then over here, I was kind of picturing this becoming like a small living room setup. I don't really know what couch they would have down here. Maybe something small. I kind of like that little one actually. Oh, and I think it looks cute with that rug. Does that match okay to you? I think so. Granny's gonna have to eat on the couch if she wants to sit down here and eat dinner. There's not really enough space for her to like have a table or anything. I will put a rocking chair because I love the idea of a rocking chair down here. And then maybe we could get like, ooh, hold on. This is kind of tight. Is there space for me to put yarn or is it too close? Also, is it too stereotypical to put yarn next to the rocking chair? Maybe like a little bit. It's maybe a little bit stereotypical, but I think kind of in a fun way. I actually really like having my elder Sims work on the knitting skill because when they're retired, they don't always have to work on their other skills anymore. So it's fun to take up a new one. And then knitting is cool because you can actually make clothes for the other Sims to wear. I like the idea of your Sims grandparent like knitting a sweater for the baby. I think it's cute. So I get excited and I keep doing it. And then down here, I don't think I'm gonna put a full kitchen. I'm kind of picturing like small kitchenette vibes, like just a fridge, a sink, maybe a microwave. I'd like to encourage the Sims to use the shared spaces. So like in an ideal world, they'll go upstairs and use the kitchen upstairs to cook a proper meal. But if they wanted to just get like something small to eat real quick or like make breakfast, they could have it down here. You can also cook like garden salad type stuff, things that don't require a stove. So that's gonna be helpful for gameplay. I feel bad that there's not any windows. I actually feel like genuinely kind of guilty about that, but I don't know. It's a basement apartment, so I guess Granny's just gonna have to deal with it. I know that's bad, but it's okay. It's really not a bad place. Like this would be a nice place to live. It's fully functional. It's got all the good stuff you might need. I'm getting a little tile backsplash in the kitchen right there. I put these picture frames up so you could hang up family photos. This is one of my favorite pictures in the whole game. I really like it. It does have a cat swatch, so if I'm being honest, that like kind of heavily contributes to it, but I really like this little gallery wall. Do you think I could get away with extra space? No. You can't even put it in the corner. Yikes. Okay. If it was right there, I'd be able to get away with extra space. I think in the corner even it's too much. Although I could have landscaping right there and that, oh, I put it up too high. Everyone has to go down 1 tile, sorry. 3 tile high foundation. Okay, well I could put landscaping here in this corner and that'll kind of cover the weird clipping. So that might be okay. We can ignore that weird little corner. Because what I'm thinking I might want to do is like maybe get some sort of closet or something. I'm just trying to think of fun ways that we can add extra stuff into this basement. And I sort of like the idea of having a small closet, even if we just use the base game stuff and not any of the Dream Home Decorator things, because while I love the Dream Home Decorator pack, I will say that the closet items, they're kind of annoying. Like, they're kind of buggy. I really do want to like them, but they make it really hard for me to do that because they're just so weird. And that makes the basement unit a little bit bigger. So in total, that means that all of this would be the unit that belongs to Granny. I think that's really nice. I'm still not gonna build it as a rental lot because it's still too laggy, but at least that helps to define the space. Oh, what the heck? I moved the door by accident, it looks like. That's so weird. Okay, well, I put it back. I mean this, please do not keep fish in bowls. Don't do this. It's not good for the fish, but I'm gonna do it in my Sims build because the fish tank doesn't fit. Again, really bad. Please do not do that in real life, but my Sims are gonna have a fish in a fishbowl down here. And I think that's the whole basement done. Now we just have the entire rest of the house to finish. I was really excited about the basement, as you can maybe tell. Oh, real quick, I'm gonna paint all the outside of it black, just so it kind of blends in a bit better. Okay, real quick, let's just actually paint the outside and start putting some windows on, because right now it does not look like a house. It's just one big giant box. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm painting it blue. I'm kind of loving this like dark navy blue though. It's different than your average lilsimsie blue suburban because it's dark. It's like kind of cool. The only problem with this color wallpaper is that I don't know what to put on the roof because everything I try with the roof always looks kind of weird. Like my favorite roof texture, this one, I think that it's maybe a little bit too light for this, but then you pick something darker and I think maybe it's too dark for this. There is kind of like a bluish gray swatch of this, but then maybe it's too blue for this. I think that's like all too samey. I might try and figure it out once I've put more of the rest of the house together because I feel like once we have all the windows on, it'll help break up all of the dark colors. Oh, we could also use, I mean, if we're going like full on base game blue suburban vibes, we could always use one of these, like the base game windows, and that gives you a shutter that kind of ties in the black on the roof. So that might make this swatch okay. And it's kind of cool that it's a slightly darker looking house. I don't know. I don't usually build stuff like this. Okay, I think this house needs a flower box. It like probably needs a couple flower boxes. And I don't think that the shutters are working. It's too dark. We need to have a lot of bright windows everywhere, kind of like these. I don't know if I want to use this flower box or not. That's my favorite flower box in the whole game. But there are a few others that I like a lot. Like for example, this one. I think that those color flowers look good with this house. It's kind of like a cute pinky color. Almost like a fuchsia-y pink, but don't tell the Sims 4 that I called that cute. They'll start making more stuff like this. We don't need more of this swatch. That's okay. We have enough. Okay, annoyingly, the windows look really weird right here because of how I have this laid out. Maybe I should do a small one. No. No, that's not gonna work. Let me get a better door too. You can't do double blue, can you? Although, I mean, I could. It looks kind of cute. I could maybe do double blue. I guess we could put like a rocking chair and maybe some lights on this wall to kind of fill in this space without having to have a window. I actually really like this little part of the wall right here. I think it looks kind of cool from the outside. And then we've got some windows on the inside right there. We'll have to figure out this floor plan because this is a little bit weird. I don't know if this brick thing looks cool, but I'm kind of picturing that maybe we could have some sort of patio in the back, sort of like this. I'll figure that out last. That's a problem for future Kayla. I don't really care to worry about that right now. Okay, I think we've got all the windows actually placed now. I'm gonna leave off the ones on this side just for a second because I want to figure out the floor plan first. So we know we have this hallway, entryway sort of space. I'm gonna do a bunch of arches in here to get you through the rest of the house. I don't really know what to do with the downstairs, if I'm being honest. I don't know how to split this up. Okay, I feel like this should become the kitchen, living room, dining room area. What if, okay, concept. Maybe over here we get a downstairs bathroom and then a bedroom of some sort. So there's one small bedroom down here. There's a bathroom right here. And then this could become like a music room. I don't know. I don't really do that kind of stuff very often. Like it's hard for me to find space to put like the pianos and things in my Sims builds, but I like the idea of that. I think it's kind of fancy. And then we could put a whole bunch of the skill building items there. At least a piano and a guitar and like maybe a place to sit or something. And then down this way, oh, I'm making myself nervous with this. Okay, down this way, it's all a weird open space. Maybe I make this a little bit smaller. Sometimes smaller is good actually. Do you think I can close this off at all? Like maybe I could have this part become an office or something? No, that's worse. Wait, what if, okay, do it backwards from that. What if this part becomes an office or something? It can have an entrance into the kitchen, dining, living space, but this way we have kind of one open room that we can use for all the other things. Although that makes it kind of small. Wait, hold on, I'm not sure about this idea. It was a good idea in theory, but in practice it might not work. Okay, imagine we have the kitchen back there. What if I put a wall here? Because I want to split it up a little bit more. Okay, kitchen goes back there. I've changed my mind about this concept. That was a silly idea, sorry. Okay, the kitchen's there. Okay. So over here, this becomes the living room. And then we do some sort of dining room. I know these rugs are not good. I'm just thinking about how I'm gonna space it out. I like the idea of a formal dining table, so they could fit like 6 chairs around it. Okay, I think this could work. And then upstairs, we need to fit in as many bedrooms as we can. The staircase is kind of in an annoying location because I feel like this is sort of the most obvious choice, but it makes the hallway such a weird, tight space. Like, I just don't like this. This could give us 3 bedrooms if we had those 3 bedrooms, and then maybe 1 extra bathroom. So in total, it's a 4-bedroom house plus granny's space. I just don't love the hallway. I'm kind of feeling like the hallway is a huge waste of space. Look who came to say hello to us. This one is Sunny. She's still bald because she got spayed a couple weeks ago. If you hear any cats screaming, she's kind of demanding attention right now, so you might hear some noises in the background. Yeah, I do not like this. I do not like this at all. Okay, what if we split this up a little bit differently? It does make this bedroom a bit bigger. It makes the bathroom a bit smaller, so that's no good. And it makes the hallway a little bit tighter. I don't love that, but I don't think that it's unrealistic. Okay, it's taken me a long time, but I've got the whole floor plan and all the bathrooms finished. I think I want to start now by furnishing the bedrooms because those seem like the most fun to me. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I always kind of think that primary bedrooms are the most boring. For some reason, I just don't really care about furnishing them that much. I have way more fun doing kids' bedrooms or like teens' bedrooms, and maybe it's specifically in a house like this where I'm kind of trying to furnish this bedroom to be a little bit generic. Not that I want it to be a generic house, but I would like for this room to sort of fit anybody's Sims. Like if you wanted to play here, I want it to work for most of your Sims, so I don't want to infuse too much personality into this room. And then I just find it kind of not fun to furnish because of that. I know that's my own fault, like I don't have to do it this way, but that's kind of how it ends up working out. Okay, so here's what I've got so far in this primary bedroom. I think that we maybe need to have one other thing in this corner, and I kind of want it to be a cat tree. Speaking from my personal experience, is that, oh, I think the cat was behind me. I think she was on the shelves. I was gonna say, speaking from my personal experience, a cat tree is a necessity in a bedroom because my cats like to sleep in it. I find that they kind of go between my bed and the cat tree, so I'll make sure that these Sims have one in here. We didn't end up adding an office, so I might put some stuff like that here in this hallway so it can be used like a little private office area. We gotta be careful because there's not much space. I did put the bonsai tree too because it's kind of a nice touch. And I want to put some more photos because I'm picturing this house being used for like a legacy challenge type thing, so I want to give you a lot of room to put things up. I know I do this in like every single one of my builds. I always put a little desk in the upstairs hallway, but I just like to make use of this space because otherwise it ends up being kind of useless just sitting there. If you can make the stair landing have some functional items in it, it becomes more of a usable area. I also always put thermostats upstairs in my hallways too. Growing up, the thermostat was next to my parents' bedroom door, kind of like that, so I still do that to this day at all my Sims builds because that's just where a thermostat is supposed to be. That's my life experience, so I kind of just keep adding it to my builds. I'm trying to use some wallpapers that I don't really go for very often because I like never use this flower one. I'm thinking I might try to do like a green and yellow color scheme in this bedroom. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I'm gonna try it. Is there a more teal sort of swatch on this? That's no. No, I don't really like any of these swatches actually. Those are not really speaking to me. The pink ones are pretty. This does not match. Oh, yikes. That is the color combo. I don't know if it works with the green wallpaper, but I'm gonna make it work. It's a kid's room, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You can kind of do weird stuff in kids' room spaces, and I think that's a good thing. Oh, I'm gonna use a lot of parenthood down here. Let me just put some of these clutter items before I forget about them. I never use this plate either. Okay, so here's the first kids' room. I put a bunch of toys in here, so they have like a dollhouse. I've got the little science table, which reminds me I should probably put a fire alarm too, because these things catch fire a lot. Okay, I know that this combination is a little ugly, all right? I realized that this wallpaper is a lot. I've never really used it before. I don't really like it that much. I've tried really hard to not use it most of the time, but I think that's why I want to use it in here. In my vision, in my pretend little vision, I'd like to picture that this Sim is an artist. So I'm gonna give them like a little craft table. They're gonna have some fun polka dots. Maybe they have some cute pictures they've drawn themselves. Oh, I should put a nightlight. I need to use this more often. That's so cute. And this is kind of what I'm thinking for that second kids room. I know, it's a lot. And that's the whole upstairs, okay? So then downstairs, I wanted this to be more of like a teens room. Okay, so here's kind of what I've got so far for the little teens room. Again, I don't know if this is good. I'm not even sure if it's cool or not. I put up like a poster right here. I think I might get them a mirror somewhere. This is also a good spot to put some little desk clutter and stuff in. Okay, and that can be our little generic teens room. It's been so long that I'm kind of starting to forget where we even started, but this is the hallway. I think in the hallway for Granny's place, we probably should leave it very simple. I don't want to put too much in there and then worry about like the routing getting messed up because it's such a small space. I'm really trying to go for playability in this one, so I don't want to do too much. This hallway is also very dark. There's like no windows. Maybe I could get a sliding door. I don't like the sliding doors in The Sims that much because I always think that they're too low, but realistically, like this is so common. Every house that I've ever lived in, granted I'm in Florida, but every house I've ever lived in has a sliding door into the back patio. That might be a Florida thing. My experiences are kind of skewed because I'm from Central Florida, but I don't know. It's very normal where I live, so I think it makes sense here too, even if I don't like how it looks. I loved this rug from upstairs, so I might use that again down here. This is the music room. So I called it, whatever that means. I want to have the piano. That's kind of like the main thing. And then I think I'd probably also like to get some family photos on the walls. I could probably stick a plant in the corner and then have the guitar over there. It could also just be like general skill building room, and we could put an easel and some canvases too. I think this kind of stuff is always nice to have in your builds because so often you need to do all these skills for your Sims and there's just not enough space to do it. I need to make more of an effort to put gym equipment in my builds. I don't like having gym equipment. I like don't like how it looks, so I don't want to use it. But if I'm being honest, that's probably like one of the, but the thing is the athletic skill is so common. Like so many Sims need it for their careers. It's just, I don't want to put a treadmill in here. All right, we furnished almost the entire house. We've got one room left to do. The only problem is that one room is like 3 rooms, technically. I'm gonna start with the kitchen because this part is very exciting and also very important. So I've got the fridge and the stove. Over here, I'll get a sink. I'd like to have a dishwasher as well, but I might use one of the new ones because they're so skinny, it looks so good. Although, hold on. It does look a little bit weird, the skinny dishwasher on that cabinet, because the handle is so strange looking. Can you just ignore that part? Can we like make a pact to ignore that together as a group? Can we choose to pretend that didn't happen? The Sims is just a little bit more fun when you play pretend a little bit. I think we unfortunately have no choice but to do that here. Okay, so I'll put some cabinets. I think I'll use the same tile I've been using everywhere behind these cabinets. We have kind of like a blue and green and wood color scheme going on right now. I don't really know how we came to this, but I guess I like it. I don't know. Oh, I need a trash can too. And then we're gonna need to find stuff for the cat. I almost forgot about that. I put a cat tree, but I never got a litter box. Actually, the litter box just being here in the music room kind of makes sense to me. It's a little bit out of the way, but it's still around where the cat's gonna feel comfortable. I'm overthinking it. It's the Sims. The cat doesn't actually care. I really like to use little cabinets, almost like tables. I try to do this to build like custom media units, and then sometimes I'll take other little pieces of furniture like this and then size it down and like hide it in there so it looks like it has legs. Granted, is that clipping with the wall? Yeah, okay, you have to alt place this. You can't just do it, but something like that I think looks cool and kind of makes sense. I forgot I was trying to use like more interesting looking lights, so I'm gonna go through and add some of those around here. These lights aren't really that interesting, but sometimes it helps to have something on the ceiling. I can get some little ones in the kitchen. Maybe in the dining room we'll use, I don't know, something. I like this one because it's simple, so I could always use that. Ooh, this one has that cool navy blue, and it's like a fun leather color. I don't know if it's horrible. I can't tell. Oh no. I know, we just talked about this. I'm a huge overthinker, but I'm overthinking right now. I don't know what looks good. I think that looks bad. I'm not sure. I can't tell. Curtains help. Curtains are a big help. I need to do like a rainbow house after this because this house's interior is kind of boring. I know. I'm sorry, everybody. Does this even come in the same color? I don't think it does. Because why would it? That just makes too much sense. I do always like this one as well, but it's like kind of industrial, so not really the vibes. This one feels like a nice family homes sort of couch, but it also has like these weird trim colors. Oh, duh. Wait, this is perfect. Maybe that's what I want. Does that come in any better colors? We could always do this. I could use that, and then I could try and get some orange accents in here. Orange accents, I can do that. This is mustard and not orange, but like maybe it works anyway. You can kind of see what we're going for. No. You can't. Oh no. This is orange. It's like a little orange rocking chair. I actually do like that though with the orange. I think it looks kind of cool. So maybe we could have an orange. Ooh, no. I mean, we can try and fit in orange, but they're all different shades of orange, so it's not gonna be what you want. Or at least it's not gonna be what I want, I guess is a better way of putting it. No, that's not good. That's another different shade of orange, but I think still good. I'm not sure if it's too much to have the big library wall, but I think it kind of fits with the vibes of the house. That's also a good place to put clutter, because if you were playing a legacy challenge in this house, you could put like your Sims various achievements in there, like all of the Simmy capsules they found, the collectibles, all of that stuff in here. I'm thinking I need another little cat tree. I am annoyed by the fact that it goes underneath the rug. That's always bothered me so much about this stuff. I do not like that rug. I think we need a different rug. Maybe that's the problem. It's like the stripes. The stripes, they're not working. I do want to have a nice square rug. This one's like a totally different color. Maybe in just a cream color. No, no. No. Why is this so difficult? How is this so difficult? Why am I doing this to myself? Okay, what if we made it smaller like that? Can that work? I don't know if that looks good with this couch though. I think it could work, depending on what else we put with it. I know, it's kind of ugly. Like I was saying earlier, sometimes ugly is good though. Sometimes that's what you want. You might not think it, but sometimes it's good. It's realistic. Not everybody's houses are perfect on the inside. Oh, I just pressed a hotkey and went to manage worlds by accident. I did not need this. I've been building for over 2 hours. I'm trying to get through it. I know I just said I hated that rug, but I actually am gonna use it in the dining room. Somehow I kind of like it in here specifically. I can't. The couch is throwing it off. Wait, what if it was just beige? Like, what if it was just plain cozy couch vibes? That looks way better. I don't know what I was thinking, you guys. I was trying to get fancy with it, and that was a mistake. Like, I didn't need to do that. It was fine. This rocking chair no longer works. Any other color? Maybe that one? Oh, this looks terrible. I swear, I tried so hard. I thought it looked good at first. It was looking good for a bit there. Okay, here's what I've got for the little dining room and the kitchen living combo, and that is the entire interior of the house done. We finally got through all the inside stuff. I didn't end up adding a fireplace anywhere. I know that people usually get mad when I put chimneys and don't put a fireplace, but like, imagine it's an old house, they renovated, they ripped out the fireplace, but the chimney is still there. It's normal, okay? It's perfectly normal and perfectly reasonable, and it's fine. And then the last thing we have to do is just get a little food bowl for the cat, because I did almost forget to feed them. I'm gonna be honest, that I kind of forgot about that one for a second. And now, oh wait, let's put it in the dining room. The cat can eat with everybody else. We'll all share dinner together. And that is the whole interior, finally. Let's think about the outside for a second, because I would like to add in a nice backyard and like some pretty landscaping, maybe a patio. I always like to use this fence because it's cheap and it looks good. And I think I'm gonna wrap this around what would be a nice sized little patio. And then maybe I'll have it go out the side a bit too. In here, I'm kind of imagining a pool. Although, oh, I should have had it be the size it was before. Okay, go back. At what point is a pool too small and like kind of strange because of it? Because I think we're at that point right now, but maybe it's fine. I'm putting a couple lounge chairs and a grill outside. I think I'd also like to get a couple little planter boxes. I really like having planter boxes for my Sims because it's fun to have little sets of gardens. It's always a good way to fill up outdoor space too and just have some stuff outside. We do need to have a trash can, so I'll put that back here. I've been doing a lot of like budget builds recently, so it's kind of fun for me to have this one not be a budget build and just be able to landscape it. It's nice to not have to worry about how much the landscaping costs when I'm picking it out. That's probably not a good thing that I'm just like building it with whatever cost, but it is nice for me as I'm working on this to not have to think about it. I'm not spending too much. It's gonna be expensive, but it's not gonna be ridiculous. I've built some very ridiculously priced houses before, and this is not one of them, I promise. Maybe we could get some monkey bars too. Something like these right here. Let's not forget a ladder for the pool and maybe some lights for the pool as well. This is not intended to be a pool light. It's supposed to be like an outdoor landscaping light, but I think it looks really good as a pool light because I like how it shines upwards on the wall. I just have to like size it down and then hide it in the corner so you can't really tell, but I think that looks good, right? I will get a small little table right here. And then I'm thinking one of those drink trays. I actually really like this little lemonade tray. It comes from the backyard stuff pack, but it's kind of a nice touch for this. And that might be the whole backyard done. I don't know if we need to put much else back here other than like flowers. It'd be nice to have some landscaping, maybe a mailbox. Okay, I kind of want that color. Annoyingly, there isn't much in the regular game that has this color flower like the landscaping has, but I want to try and find some debug stuff because I know for a fact that some of the debug flowers have that color. This is like a bit more orange toned and this is a bit more blue toned. It doesn't matter that much though. I just want to have like this sort of color in the flowers. Although I don't know if it looks good. Oh, here it comes. I'm overthinking again. Why can't I just let myself calm down? I don't know why I overthink so much with this stuff. It really doesn't matter. It's just the colors of a flower. Like, it's fine. It's The Sims 4. Nothing matches anyway. I will give them a couple of little gnomes because those are so cute. Okay, what if the landscaping was like that? Simple, subtle, but maybe good? I tried to tone it down a little bit in hopes that that might help. And then we can go through and add some terrain paint everywhere. Oh, wait. I wanted to have landscaping there in the corner to cover that, didn't I? One single bush. Maybe one bush. Well, maybe two bushes. Two single bushes and then like a little bit of low-lying flowers underneath. This is my go-to with landscaping, but I always think it looks cute. Okay, I think it might be done. Now what I'm gonna do is swap this into a residential rental, and we have to go through and kind of determine what space belongs to which. So I'm picturing that this will be number 1. As will, I think all of the upstairs will have this belong to like the main family, and then we'll have the rest of the downstairs, so like the bathroom, the music room, all the hallways, everything else is shared space. The laundry room is shared space. I forgot to put hampers. Okay, I'll add that later. The hallway is shared space. And then this becomes number 2. They have their own bathroom. They have their own closet and like this open basement unit. I always forget something. There's always something in a build like this. This sim has no space for a hamper, so they can't have one. I'm sorry. They don't get one. I'll put one in the other bedrooms though. I'll give one to Granny too, because I forgot to give one to them. Oh no, they had one. Sorry. False alarm. Granny had one. Okay, now the house is done. So most of it is shared space, but if you were playing here as like, you know, your legacy sims, this is what you would see. So you could see like your whole house, your upstairs, but you can't see Granny's unit. My sim is currently in this unit. I don't understand that because I'm not, but okay. And then if you're playing as Granny, you could see the whole downstairs except for this bedroom and then all of your space, but you won't see anything upstairs. And I really like that because if you're playing here in this rental, you'll see the other sims around, like the grandparents will be out and about in all the shared spaces, then they'll go to sleep in their own place. Like I was saying earlier, this is really how I'm picturing myself using these units, and I feel like it's probably the most attainable for most people, aside from like playing as a tenant in an apartment myself. If I want to like be a landlord, this is how I'm gonna be a landlord with this kind of situation. It might not be the most effective to get max rent money out of your sims, but this is what makes sense to me. Family house with basement. Okay, a large family home with a basement rental unit. How many bedrooms was it? 4? 5 if you count Granny's. It's very confusing. And then there's 4 bathrooms, right? Oh, I didn't save first. Please don't crash. It's been okay. It's been a long day. I did not need that. All right, it's up on the gallery if you want to download it. It does have 1,000,000 packs. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This could have been a base game build, and yet here we are. But hopefully you liked it. I am gonna end this video right here. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. You'll have to let me know if this is how you see yourself playing with the pack too, because this is what really excites me about it, but I know not everybody feels that way. So tell me in the comments how you've been playing with For Rent.